Hey everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Awesomeness podcast. This is our first episode, so hope you guys enjoy it and have fun with it.
Yep.
So the first thing I think we're gonna talk about is the news, and then we'll jump right into Thor, and then we'll talk about comics after that. So the first news I want to talk about is what is it? Bendis joining DC Comics. He signed a contract,
Right.
exclusive contract recently. And
Yep.
what did you think about it, Eric? I should introduce. I have Eric here.
Right.
And I'm Steven. I think that's how it should go, I guess.
That's,
Um. So yeah, the Bendis sign up for DC. How did you feel about it, Eric? I mean, what do you think of it?
well, as we both know, Brian Michael Bendis has been with Marvel Comics for at least the last 15 or so years, I think. I don't have a lot of familiarity with his writing as much as probably more other with as much as other people might have. But um, the the news when I read it was really surprising and interesting to me, just because knowing that he's such a big name from Marvel, pretty much only Marvel.
Yeah.
Um, it's fascinating to see that he decided to move to the other side of the big two. Um, it's exciting for the new opportunities that this could arise for him, storytelling wise, and also just like what he can bring that's different to the table for um, any DC character he works on. I mean, people are already making memes about how his style of writing and Bendis speak will be used in the DC universe. But I don't know. I'm not burnt out by that as much as everyone else. So I'm just kind of interested to see how his characters interact, what kind of situations he's going to put his characters in. I think I'm only concerned with the only thing I'm concerned with when it comes to his style of writing that people complain about that I have noticed is that he kind of, for the sake of his own stories, he does tend to ignore continuity a little bit. Um,
Yeah. Oh God, I hate that.
so if anything, I'm worried about that because what I like about DC is, as much as people think it's not a solid continuity, it is a very solid continuity that's been fairly consistent for the last 75 or so years. So I'm interested to see how that all goes. I'm really interested. I'm really curious as to who he's going to write for. If he's going to be just starting off with a little mini series, if he's going to actually be put on like one of the major books, replacing one of the current writers, which would, kind of suck for whoever's currently writing. But if he's better than them, I don't care. but if he's if but if it's someone I'm enjoying, then that would suck. Like
Oh,
I would hate that. I mean, as much as I know he wants to do Batman stories, I would hate him taking over for Tom King right now because I want Tom King to kind of get
you
all
want to
his
stay on
stories
Batman?
out. I do want him to stay on Batman.
I don't.
I've been enjoying his stuff on there, and I want to because I think it's been getting better as he goes and gets more used to what he's doing and what he's allowed to do. So I feel like his stuff can only get better on his Batman run.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like if Bendis really wants to make his Batman story, he should do. I hope they just kind of allow him to do sort of his own one shot or miniseries a la Batman White Knight, which to me for DC is better because they're already putting as many Batman stories as they can, and as long as they're all good, I
Yeah,
don't
they
really
they're
care.
oversaturated already. They have that Batman Prince Charming and White Knights.
And Prince Charming's not so bad. That's just an original graphic
Yeah,
novel
that was
in its
alright.
own
I
ways.
read it the first issue. That was alright.
I haven't read it yet, but it's just that's just more of its own original graphic novel that they're for some reason separating into two hardbound issues. I don't really know what that's about, but the artwork's great, so I'm not complaining too much.
Well, I had to deal with Joker, like again, another Joker story with
Yeah,
Batman.
I,
I think
I I honestly am not someone who minds what I guess what people perceive as kind of oversaturation at saturation of characters and stuff as long as they work. I think the reason why people complain about oversaturation, say for like before regular Logan was killed,
yeah, I
um,
know Wolverine used to get it a lot.
yeah, but at the same time, I feel like that's because a lot of the titles that he was in was just dumb storytelling and shoehorning him in,
Mm-hmm.
except for a couple of small titles that he was people enjoyed him in. And it's the same thing now. It's not so much that there's too much X-Men titles out on Marvel. It's that not all of them are great to a lot of people and X-Men fans. So that's what makes it bad. But to me,
Well,
with Batman, all the
I noticed
Batman
they calmed down
titles.
with the X-Men titles. They only have like a few. I mean, like,
Well, I mean, with the X-Men titles, it's X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold,
yeah, Old Man
Astonishing
Logan.
X-Men, Old Man Logan, Jean Grey, Iceman, Cable technically,
Yeah, Cable.
Weapon X, Generation X.
Never mind, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. And then they're still doing the Phoenix Resurrection
Because
coming out.
before they only had Extraordinary X-Men, Uncanny X-Men,
Yeah, there was only Extraordinary,
and Old Man
Uncanny,
Logan. I think that was
and
it.
Old Man Logan. Um, I
And then
think
they
that was
came
there
a
was
whole
one. There was
whole
probably one
bunch
or two
of
more, but
yeah.
but it's definitely gotten to that point, and it's again, and it's not so bad. I don't mind all that. It's more that they're not all top quality. I mean, at least with the three like main X Men titles, I've heard good things about them, but they're not like breaking to a lot of people. They're just enjoyable enough.
Well, the only one I don't like is X-Men Blue. I like X-Men Gold and Old Man Logan. I've
Right.
been, I think Old Man Logan's the best one to be honest.
It's a
I've
great
loved
title,
that.
and I love the whole Jeff Lemire run. So
I've been loving it a lot. Like I know they if before Jeff Lemire, and then they changed the writer to Ed Bryson, something like that.
yeah, he's the new guy out there.
Yeah, he's a new guy. I really like his writing a lot. It's pretty good, and I do like the storyline they're going with. He's fighting Maestro, the the Hulk with the beard.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure I even said his name. I know I said it too fast. But
Maestro, yeah. I haven't
yeah,
read it myself. The stuff with Ed Bryson, I'm waiting to just kind of read it in trades. But I've heard good things about it, and
yeah,
that the title's still holding up strong.
it is still holding up. I really like it. It's pretty well.
But um, but going back to
Yeah, the Bendis, 'cause we went off
over,
track a little bit.
well, yeah, going back, it's like yeah, oversaturation. Batman. I don't think it's a bad idea that to have him just start off to get his feet wet in DC to just kind of do a one shot or uh, um, a mini series before he gets put on something more ongoing or larger. I'm also curious to see him what characters he creates because he's known for creating some very popular characters in the Marvel universe. Not, I mean, and some unpopular ones. Like, not everyone seems to like Ironheart.
I
Um,
like her. I mean, I didn't like. I think she has potential, but I don't think Bendis is doing that well with her. Like,
yeah,
eh,
I haven't read any of the Ironheart stuff except the little bit she's been in Secret Empire. Um, and I like her fine in that. I think my perception of the series is that, and it's the same kind of problem I have with say like America is that um, because they're trying to make her like this bigger character, more popular character, they're trying to make her like everyone's best friend in the Marvel universe.
no.
Um, and when it comes to Riri, it's I don't know.
Well, I did like her origin story, but after that, it just fell off for me. Like, I don't know what
Yeah,
happened. Like the
but
first four issues were good, and then it just it just fell off after that. And like, is became
Yeah,
terrible. To,
I think she can do better with another writer. Like the concept
yeah,
is good. It's just that her concept is good. It's just that I feel like the way they handled it was poor, and it's something that doesn't help to me. Like my understanding is that there was already kind of a character that could have been basically Riri that already existed.
yeah. There was
Was
one
it
character. There was
like Rhodey's
James
niece or
Rhodey's
something?
sister. Yeah,
Sisters? Like I knew it was a relative of his who could have had the same thing. She's already tied into Iron Man. She's already tied into that mythos, and it could tie into the whole War
yeah.
Machine is dead kind of thing.
She was in the. I know she was in the Iron Patriot series that was short lived,
Right.
and I think she was something else before that. And
Yeah.
she was
I don't know.
just. She had her own armor in the Iron Patriot series. I remember
Right.
like one issue, and that was it.
Seemed to me like if she already had her armor, if she already has connection to Tony and to Rhodey, and the fact that Rhodey died and all this other stuff, then she could have been used. But it feels like they went with Riri because Bendis wanted a character that he gets to keep the knowledge that he created her and stuff like that. And that kind of
Yeah, I
sullies.
noticed he has a fascination with creating his own characters, like Miles Morales.
Yeah, and a lot of them work. A lot of them work. They're still
Yeah,
used today. Miles Morales being the best example of that, and his whole, you know, Ultimate Universe stuff is well praised.
yeah,
But
it is. That's what where I started to like him was I really started to like him in House of M and then Ultimate Universe afterwards.
yeah, and like I said, I haven't read any of that really, and I need to get into it. I do like what I've read. I like the all new, all different Iron Man series that when I started. The only reason I stopped reading it was because the artwork changed, and I didn't like the newer
Yeah,
artist.
it got terrible after the artwork changed.
Yeah, I preferred what's his name. I forget his name, like it's like Mahmoud or something.
And they had the spin-off title like
Uh,
International Iron Man. Like, what was the point of that? It
yeah,
was
and then
written by
yeah,
Bendis.
and that was confusing to me because I didn't know if I should read that. I was still barely getting into reading monthly comics, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to read that too. And I was like, you know what, I'm not
I just didn't
enjoying this.
understand why they had two Iron Man series come at the same time with the same writer.
Yeah, and I mean, I know International Iron Man was supposed to have its own kind of flavor to it, but I didn't get it, and I
To
just didn't
me,
want
I
to.
don't think it had its own flavor.
Yeah,
It was
which is why
basically
it
the
didn't last
same
long.
thing.
Um, but
Yeah,
I enjoyed that series, and that's my main kind of connection to him. And I liked how he wrote Tony in that. I liked the whole Madame Mask arc.
yeah, the Madame
I
Mask arc was pretty good. I liked it, and I like how they changed her costume in that one.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good writer, and I do give him that. And I'm just curious to see where he goes with this. We can speculate who he's going to write for, you know, all the time, but it's I want to just kind of keep it as a surprise because he can really do anything there, and I'll check it out because people say he's not good with teenagers. People say he's not good with not teenagers. I mean, he's not good at teen books. He's not good at the space stuff. But I feel like maybe he didn't know the characters well enough in Marvel or something that he could probably do it better in DC. He could probably do a team book in DC and be fine because they have a different
Well,
dynamic.
from my point of view, uh, I think he used to be a good writer to me. Like he used to be one of my favorites, but then I think after all new X-Men, he just completely fell off. I don't know what happened.
Uh-huh.
Like his writing started to become really bad.
Hmm.
Like I started to not like his even the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Like when the all new all different Marvel came out,
Hmm.
we had Spider-Man with the series called Spider-Man with Miles Morales, and I really didn't like it because it seemed like he didn't have his internal struggles anymore. Because what is it? His mom came back alive,
Hmm.
and it seemed like he's I mean he's happy that his mom's back alive, but it's like he doesn't have any struggles anymore, and his dad is not an asshole anymore. I don't know. He just Bendis just retconned his personality for some reason.
Yeah. See, I don't know the differences between. I enjoyed it for what it's. I don't know all that other stuff,
Because
and I think
in the
maybe.
Ultimate Universe, he was his dad hated him because he found out he was Spider-Man, and he just had some he hated mutants, and he thought his son was a mutant, something
Okay.
like that. And after a while, they um retconned that, and they said that he was like some Shield agent, which I didn't like. And they're like, he's like cool. He's cool with his son right now, and just out of nowhere, they didn't explain how he's cool with his son. Like his son comes back into his life, because he actually leaves him like home alone at one point, and then he just comes back, and instead of saying that he hate him for being a mutant or being not, he's not a mutant. He's like he kept thinking he was a mutant, and he hated him being Spider-Man. What is it? Yeah, he instead of that, he said that all he just went to do a undercover mission for Shield, and they showed his origin of being part of Shield. And I'm like,
Right.
what
I've heard of
happens to
that.
him leaving his son because he was Spider-Man? I just didn't get that.
I think it had to
It's
do
like,
with all the shenanigans that with the incursions and folding the universes together. So therefore, um,
yeah,
you
they
know,
wiped all that away, and they just
yeah,
left it.
it's yeah. I see, for someone like me who was new to it, it was fine for me, and it works because I don't know anything of that. But
Oh,
I guess that'll change. We'll see if that changes when I read all the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff and see how I enjoy one over the other. I guess.
it was better written there than what it is now, because it seems like he doesn't have any flaws right now. I don't know. It just
That's another problem that I can see with Bendis with his characters is that he tends to make them flawless.
yes, I kind of
Same,
hate that. They've been
same
doing
thing
that
with
a lot
Riri.
lately. They did that with, yeah, they doing that with Miles, Riri, and Moon Girl, whatever that little character with the dinosaur, Moon Girl.
Yeah, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I think with
Yeah,
Moon Girl, it's just that's kind of the kind of the concept is that she's super smart, and it's also because they kind of sell it as a kids book anyway. So with kids, you don't want like a I don't know. I haven't read it, so I only read a couple issues, so I
I
don't know
read
how.
it. It's not that good. I dropped it. I just because they made her seem like she knows everything, but she doesn't know everything.
Yeah, because she's a kid. Yeah, but that's what I
Yeah,
mean. It does well in trades because at book fairs and stuff
it's
like
like
that.
they should have made her the smartest person in the world, because she really isn't the smartest person in the world.
Yeah, it limits them a
Like
little
the
bit.
things that she comes up with is like, really, that's what you came up with? Like we could have done something better than that, or somebody
Yeah,
else could have done something better. It just
that's
didn't
always
make much sense.
that's always the
And I
problem
think
with
America
writing
is
a
another
character like that.
character that's been being flawless too. I think that is the main problem with the diversity. With a lot of people don't are not happy with the diversity because a lot of the characters are have no flaws,
Yeah.
and they should.
Well, it's even that is like a weird thing too because it shows that if you make them with flaws, then they might not sell well or whatever. Or if you do make them with flaws, and it's both a storytelling problem and a in a what do you call that? The kind of infallibility of a character thing. Because with America, like the writing is just terrible overall. I've read the first issue, the first couple issues. It's very hard to read. The art's good,
I enjoy
but
it with so far. I mean,
I haven't
I've been
liked it,
picking up lately.
and I found it a lot of it really bad pandering. Like I don't know, maybe it's because I'm Mexican, not Puerto Rican, so I don't like all the Puerto Rican stuff doesn't
Oh,
I find pandering and stuff like that.
what I mean, like, she does a lot of Spanglish, or the characters doing a lot of Spanglish.
See, but that's the thing. The Spanglish doesn't bother me because I was reading Nova with
Oh,
Sam,
and
and
I
there was
noticed
a
he
lot of
does that a lot.
and Spanglish was perfect in that because it made more sense. Like the little bit I read in the other one, it just like it seems like she's just dropping words to sound cool, and it's weird because I know that the writer's Puerto Rican, but that's what I mean with that is that I might not just connect to the Puerto Rican stuff. So to me, it just sounds like they're pandering to all Hispanics because it's
But
just
I'm
like
really confused about because I think they had to fix America's origin because they said that she comes like from another Earth where it has no American heritage or even Latino heritage, which just makes no sense. Like to me, like why is the character wearing American colors if the Earth she comes from doesn't even have America? I mean, like it does have United States of America. Like
yeah, I don't know. That's
how does
part of
that
that
make any
confusion with
sense?
the
And
certain
how
things,
is she
but
Latina if she's where she comes from doesn't even have Latinos? Like
it's
the heritage is not there whatsoever. It's just not existent.
that that's the things though. That those are the things that kind of bother me. There's like a lot of weird storytelling things that don't make sense, and that just they're shoehorning things instead of making it
That's
more
one thing
organic.
they
Like that's
didn't shoehorn in it, which is the gay, her being gay kind of
yeah,
thing.
like it should be more natural. Like that's what I was talking about with Nova. I read Nova because I heard the first issue was good, and I was interested in reading a story with Sam and Richard Rider, two characters I'm not too familiar with. I'm not familiar with the Nova stuff. And I've always heard bad things about Sam because blah blah this and that. What I didn't know was that Sam is Hispanic,
Yeah,
but
they didn't
and
really
I read the first issue,
they didn't
and
make it obvious too. I
yeah,
mean,
and and I read the first issue, and I loved it. I love the artwork. I love the writing style. I love the story. It was simple. It was nice, young adult kind of style of writing. It wasn't overly complicated, but it was cool, badass fight scenes. I love the work they did with Richard, and then like I said with but like I said with Sam, I didn't know he was Hispanic,
I didn't know
and
he
they
was
just kind of
Hispanic either.
it's just kind of there, but it made sense and it worked, and his dynamic with his mom and his sister
Yeah,
was very
I like
familiar to me, and
the
yeah,
struggles with his mom had to pay bills, like being a single parent,
yeah.
cared to
I don't
kid,
re-
and she's like
I don't relate
worried
to
about Sam coming back home from
yeah.
space.
Yeah, and I like that. It all made sense. Like even how she knew he was a superhero and all this stuff,
Yeah,
and how she still had that like Latina mom being worried for her son thing. Like he was just kind of going out with friends or had an after school job, and I liked that. And the Spanglish wasn't a problem because it sounds just like how my mom and dad and me talk.
yeah. My mom talked like that too, and
So
I do talk like that some like a little bit, but not as much as my parents did.
yeah, same
Mm.
thing. I don't speak a lot of Spanish, so it's just, but it made more sense because it's not in your face. And it's the same thing with like even say Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider is that it's not I can enjoy it but I don't get into it as much because I'm not part of that
I did
Hispanic
like
culture.
Ghost Rider series is pretty good. I mean, with Robert Reyes, it was the first
Yeah,
one, not the second one.
I liked it. I read the first trade of that of the original one and I liked it. I liked the character and everything. I don't relate to the whole Cholo thing, so I didn't like finish it because it's hard for me to get into that stuff.
Oh,
But I it still also made sense.
yeah,
Everything's obviously he's Mexican from East LA and vato this and vato that. It's just
yeah,
normal like dude who's taking care of his little brother. He likes cars. He works hard for his
yeah. I did
family
like
and
that,
stuff.
and it's like he was supporting his brother by himself.
Yeah, and it made sense. It's not like an obvious thing that he's Hispanic. It's just he happens to be in the scene. And I wish it was more like that with America. And I wish it
Yeah,
was like that with a lot of characters who are uh, of a certain ethnicity that they introduced. Everything has to be like is oh cool look they're so Hispanic, they're so black, they're so Asian, right? And that can get on
well,
my nerves because
it's just
like
weird how America is. She's in her face about the gay thing, like being gay, and it's like, can we just talk about more about her being besides gay?
yeah, yeah, I guess yeah from your perspective you don't You don't feel like you need to um, define yourself completely by your sexuality. It just happens to be an aspect to yourself, not
Yeah, that's what
your
it's
main
supposed to
thing.
be like.
Like
It's
I get,
just something that I do. That's it. But
yeah,
I don't make my whole life about it.
yeah.
Like,
That's the thing I find when it comes to literature like that. It could be with like whether it's books, television, whatever. With gay characters is that it doesn't always have to be about them being gay. It can just be,
yeah, there are some people that are like that. That's the problem. There are some people that make gay culture their life. I mean, like,
yeah, that's fine too, and that's fine if that's the character and it feels like that's their character. But America, it feels like she's trying to be just a normal person who happens to be gay, but they're writing her like the person who can't stop talking about being gay because the
yeah,
writer
I know.
herself, because the writer
It's probably
herself
gay too.
is she's a lesbian and
Oh, okay.
she is the kind of
I kind of figured because I mean I don't want to judge looks, but she did look like a lesbian. But
gotcha, yeah,
you never know with that, so I don't want to assume. I didn't want to
of
assume that she
course.
was gay.
Of course, but yeah, if I remember correctly, reading about it, that she's a gay Latina, writing a gay Latina. So of course, that's something you want to do. You want to let people who have that similar background want to write for that character. But
Yeah,
sometimes in this case, particularly, it's just it feels like, and I know people are liking it, and that's cool. If you like it, that's cool.
I am liking
I
it a
just
little bit. It just because I do like the parts where she's at the school and she's talking with Prodigy and
mhm,
she's dealing with her grandmother because she found out her grandmother's a superhero.
yeah,
I like this how she's dealing with that, but everything else is kind of boring.
yeah, and that's the thing, and that's how I found it. Is I found it boring. I found it the writing, the
But
dialogue clunky and stuff
I
like
like
that.
it more than Iceman. Iceman was just god awful. I just couldn't read it anymore.
I
It
haven't
like
read that one.
it left me like stressed out because I didn't want Iceman to be gay. I just read it to see how they would do it, and they just it made him to a really stereotypical gay character, and
Hmm.
it's just so forced.
Right.
It's like it's all the guy could ever talk about is him being gay, and I found out the writer's gay too. He's a gay male, so it's like it's just I don't like how he's writing the Iceman character. Like the first thing that comes on the issue was him dating like going signing up for a gay website and looking for gay guys to date, and it's just like can we just talk about him being a mutant fighting villains and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, I get that. It's the same thing.
it's just weird. Like there was one issue where his parents are treating him like shit, and he decides to come out to them. And I'm like, why? Do they even? They don't even see you. They don't. They hate you because you're a mutant. They don't even talk to you, and like all of a sudden, just because you found out you were gay, you had to come out to them. You don't have to come out to everybody in the whole world. Jeez. Come
Right.
on to the people who actually care about you, not the people you don't even talk to for like years.
Right.
It just
I
didn't
get
make
that.
any sense. And I don't know, but he didn't have to come out because he already, I mean, he didn't have to be gay because he already had struggles with his parents before, and the struggle was that he was just a mutant. So that's kind of related to that's related to I mean that's relatable to how gay people feel. That's not they don't have to be gay in order to feel to know how a gay person feels. I mean like it didn't make much sense to make him gay.
Hmm.
Like I didn't see that. Like Iceman was like my is my favorite character out of all the Marvel characters, and I was always very able to relate to him even when he was straight. So to me, making him gay was kind of unnecessary, and that was Bendis' idea. I don't know where he came up with that, but he said that a
Hmm.
lot of people used to make jokes about it because he failed in constant relationships, but I failed in constant relationships with with men, and does that make me straight? No.
Right.
So it makes sense that he says he's constantly failing have failed relations with women. That means he's gay. No, that's not how it works. But that's how Bendis made it seem like,
Right.
and that's why I noticed a lot of people did not like that.
I get that, and
Yeah, but I think what is it? I think Bendis I have not been liking his series as late, like the Spider-Man, Jessica Jones. I didn't like Defenders either. It was okay. It was good at first, but then it started falling off. And I know the problem with Bendis' writing is that he tends to try to fill in the pages. Like he doesn't get to the point until like the last 3 pages. Like it's full with gibberish of like conversations, just like not getting anywhere and just like get to the point. Like I don't want to have an ongoing conversation that has nothing to do with the story. It's just constant talking. It was
right.
like he has like a double slash panel, and he had two characters talking to each other during those two double slash panels, and I'm like, why? Like, come on,
Right.
I just want to get to the story. I don't want to have like a conversation, like reading a conversation we have with somebody. So
I mean,
it
that
got,
can work if it's done well. So
yeah, it just gets really boring. Like it was one time where he's talking, it was Maria Hill and Jessica Jones constantly talking, and it's just at it didn't get to the plot point until the end of like the last 5 pages, and I'm like, Ben, is he just trying to fill up the pages? Come on. And that's why I hope he doesn't get into doing when he gets to DC. I just hope he gets past that, and I just hope DC doesn't allow Bendis to write too many books. Because
we'll see how.
I noticed how Marvel he's makes him write too many books at once. Like he's writing Iron Man, Jessica Jones, Spider Man,
Mm.
and Defenders.
Oh yeah, he's
That's
writing
like
Defenders.
that's a lot of books already. I mean, like that's like
Yeah.
5 books, and I think he should like when he moves to DC, he should write like one or two, 1 or 2 books, and that'd be it. Like
Yep.
not write like
It,
5 books at the same time.
yep. And we'll see. It's definitely an interesting project for him to come upon, and we'll see how it goes. I'm excited one way or the other. It's it's just good. I like seeing new things like this. We'll see if the challenge itself
Yeah, and
will give him better writing because
I also
I feel it.
oh go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I just hope his Power series doesn't get canceled. 'Cause I actually like that series a lot, and he hasn't messed up on that one. His own creative is is his own indie project. I mean, like,
No, yeah, that one I was aware of.
yeah, it's from he writes it for Marvel independent publisher. It's called Icon,
Yeah,
and
I think the same artist is the one who's doing Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye.
yeah, it is the same. It's Michael Owens, I think.
Homing,
Owen or
yeah,
something. Oh, it's Omi. It's Omi.
yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, I like that series a lot, and I just kind of hope it doesn't get canceled because he's moving to DC.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see the artist he works with. I don't know. It's just a lot of interesting things, and we'll see how it goes. I'm not negative about it, but that's probably because I don't have as much
I'm been negative about
experience
it
with
because
this.
I haven't liked what he's been writing currently, but I'm kind of
That's
hopeful that
yeah,
he actually does good because I've seen him done good in the past. It's just he's not doing good currently, so it's like maybe because he's writing too many books at the same time. Maybe
yeah.
just DC just give him a few books to write He
Yeah.
isn't
I mean, people have
as
been
big as
liking his
Struggle.
Defenders and his Jessica Jones still. That's all I know.
Hmm.
But his other stuff is where people have been hating. And then, of course, Civil War 2, people thought was garbage.
Oh my God, that was just horrible.
So we'll see. I mean, maybe he'll get to do the
Yeah.
next event too, and he'll do better at DC than he did in Marvel. I mean, didn't he do Secret Invasion?
Yeah, I just never read that one, I think.
I liked Secret Invasion. I liked the concept of it. I mean, it people. I mean, I didn't read Marvel at the time, so I don't know how it affected everything, but I enjoyed
I enjoyed
the overall
his
concept. So
Adventures vs. X-Men. That was really good too.
yeah, I remember that one. I didn't read that one, but people I always hear mixed things about it. But I want to read it eventually. But anyway, he's got a lot on his plate. We'll see, I guess, in the coming months what he's gonna be working on.
Yeah.
I don't expect an announcement for a series that he's gonna be doing at least until a month or two. Like probably not until January previews, and the first issue probably not until March, April,
Yeah,
latest is May.
I think it's gonna be a while because they haven't announced anything when his yeah, they haven't announced anything where he's fighting or when is a series when is the Marvel's any of the Marvel books he's gonna jump off of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious about
So
that too, because like say all right,
and
this
I don't know what is it the Miles Morales Spider-Man I wonder how is he gonna feel if someone else decides to write that series because no one else has been writing that character before. It's always been Bendis.
well at least not by himself because he's shown up at other things.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like solo title. I mean, like that's
Yeah.
solo.
I mean, I think it's a good experience for him to let go of his characters and let someone else give him a try.
Yeah.
That's another thing. He needs to just kind of step back and let someone else have a go at his characters, and hopefully he understands that, and hopefully it's a good thing for him to kind of let go.
Hmm.
Um, so we'll see. What was I gonna say? But yeah, the most recent previews solicitations is for what January. So I wouldn't expect to see an announcement for anything until later this month for February stuff or March or something near January for March's stuff.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think he's gonna be started writing DC until like late 2018
I don't know about that far ahead. I mean, it's possible. It's very possible that
because
because
he's still writing the book. I mean, for January solicitations. I don't know. There hasn't been February yet, so I don't know
yeah, I don't know how many
how's it
issues
gonna
he has
go.
left for all his Marvel series, and then he might be wrap. They might be letting him do like what Tom King did, wrap up his arc with Vision, like he did when he
Yeah.
moved to DC, and maybe let him wrap up his arcs first, or at least while he's working on his first scripts for DC. Because who knows, he might be have been thinking about this for months, and he's been working on his DC stuff and pitches for a while. So he probably
Mhm.
already has those in the works. So and then who's going to be working with? I guess check his Twitter to see what cryptic tweets he's going to send out and what kind of hints he's going to make.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So yeah, let's go to the next one. What do you think of Disney potentially buying Fox? I think it's not all of Fox. It's just you're not buying the TV network and the sports section of Fox, but you're buying everything else.
Well,
And
my understanding of these kind of things is that
it yeah.
um, it's just talks, so there's no
Yeah, it's just
real
talks.
reason
It's
to
not
believe that
buying yet. That's a plan of
it's
what they're doing.
yeah. There's no real reason to believe that they're actually going to be successful, whether they're really doing it, blah 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 this, blah 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 that. So it's an interesting thought, but at the same time, the only reason I want them to buy out Fox or even just buy out any Marvel licenses is for the Fantastic Four stuff and Cosmic Marvel. I don't care if they ever buy X-Men because I don't want as much as people want to see Wolverine and Captain America fighting side by side. I think the X-Men part of the Marvel universe is the most confusing fucked up kind of part of all of Marvel because it doesn't make sense within the realm of everything else because all these other characters with powers are well liked and loved and adored, but all the mutants are hated for some reason in
Yeah,
Fox jurisdiction. That
I
has always been a problem with to me with X-Men being a full on part of the Marvel universe. To me, they should have always been its own thing. But that just, I mean, that's they never knew it was going to become what it became. I mean, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby just created these characters, and they just didn't want to make origins. They just wanted them to be born with it. And and sure, other characters in the Marvel universe also are disliked, but that's for different things that they're individual things. But the overall thoughts on metahumans in Marvel, it seems to be that there are heroes, there's still, but with Marvel with mutants, it's all like, I can't believe my kid's a mutant. I can't believe
yeah.
this. Oh, we can't let, and it's so stupid to me that
Well, I
so.
liked it at first, but I think after a while it just got bored. Like like I think they should just like have humans gradually accept mutants and
Yeah,
not
and
hate them
that's,
as much anymore. Like
yeah.
like how people wasn't very well accepting of gay people, and that now they gradually is more accepting now these days than it was before, and they should have done something with the mutants like that, like something that people used to not accept, and now people do. I mean, like
I
they
mean,
do focus way too much on like humans hating mutants.
I mean, that's the whole thing with the mutants is, and it's a good allegory for racism, homophobia, and all that. It's just that
Yeah, it is.
it's been become this thing that it's fine in the comic books at this point. It's people are used to it. It works how they work it, and they've modernized it. But I feel like to integrate that into the regular Marvel movie universe, it's just going to be a big, complicated mess to
Oh,
do that. And I think Fox I feel like with that is I think Marvel should keep the X Men universe mostly away in its own thing because if they work with them like how they're trying to do with Spider Man, it would be better for Fox and them and not try to integrate it. If they want, they can definitely like do some time travel multiversal stuff to get Wolverine at the very least into uh, uh, the main Marvel universe so he can fight with them. But outside of that, I don't want to see it because it's just too much. It's too silly. It's too
I
complicated
s-
because you know.
I still have hope for it because I don't like the current X-Men movies. I mean, to me, I don't feel like they do the characters right.
Yeah, and
And
I get that too. I get that.
I feel like Marvel could actually do a better job than what Fox is doing. I mean,
Yeah, I understand all that, and that's I know why people have hope for it because they want to see their proper X Men uniforms. They want to see this and that.
I don't care
I
about the
just
uniforms. I used to care about when I was younger, but as I got
I
older,
yeah,
I didn't care
a
for
lot
it
of people still
anymore.
do care about that, and a lot of people do care about seeing the proper Wolverine outfit and all that stuff. I know
Yeah.
that that's where a lot of the hope lies in them redoing the X Men in the movies. But it just to me at this point, I'd rather they redo the entire X Men's line of stuff and do their. I mean, it's a cool. The other thing too with me and X Men stuff is like they're being experimental with say stuff like Legion or the new one I forget it's called uh
Gifted.
not, not that it's the movie
Oh, the what?
New Mutants or
X.
something like that.
Oh, New Mutants. I
Or no, New Mutants is a show. What is the movie
No,
called
it's
then?
not. That's a movie. It's coming out next year. New Mutants. I mean,
No, New Mutants is the one that's is
the
the
horror
show that's
movie.
gonna have no. New Mutants is the one that's gonna have Squirrel Girl in it, and that's the TV
No, no, no,
series that.
no. That's not how you can mix that. That's made from Marvel. That's New Warriors. It's Squirrel Girl New Warriors.
Either way,
Yeah,
they're doing more experimental stuff that I'm enjoying with Fox owning everything and with that's related to it. Um, so I
yeah.
want
I
to
did
see where
like
they go with
Logan,
that.
and I did like Logan and Deadpool, and yeah, that's like the first two Fox movies of Marvel that I actually liked.
Huh, it is New Mutants. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. It's and they had new warriors, which is it's easy to get confused. People have
Yeah,
the word new on it, so yeah,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
anyway,
Marvel is making new warriors with freeform. That's what you got mixed up with, and
gotcha. Well, either way, I like the experimentation they're doing, so I'm curious to see where that goes. But
yeah, that's
if
why
they
I was
buy it,
surprised they were doing this whole talks with Disney to buy them, and it's like, weren't you guys just experimenting on with the
yeah,
X-Men? Like, why? It's like, why all this all of a sudden?
that's why I think it's just talks, and it's more that Disney made him an offer, not that it's something that Fox is taken seriously or anything. So we'll see how that goes. I'm curious. I'm whatever. As long as it's not a bunch of stupid stuff, I'm willing to watch anything. So
Okay.
um, I'm willing to give anything a chance with these movies, just because I think they're interesting and I like I like the superhero genre. Um, so I'm not burned out on it. I just want good movies. Um,
Yeah, I haven't been burnt out as of yet. You know, there's a
well,
lot.
I
There's
feel
a
like
lot
we're
taken.
I feel like people just say they're burnt out, but they still go. And also the other problem with that is that um, you know, a lot of people. To me, I as much as the Marvel movies have been successful and they're fun and they're watchable and everything, they're still not great movies, which is why I feel like people are still burnt out on it or say they are
Oh,
because the movies aren't that different from each other, and there's a bunch of them, and they're not like great, unique
well, to
movies or
me, the
anything.
Captain America movies have been great so far.
Yeah, I think all three Captain America movies are probably I think this Captain America
They're the
movies are the
strongest
strongest
ones. Yeah.
trilogy. The first Iron Man is still really good. I like the third one too. The second one's all right,
Yeah.
but I
Second
still
one's
think the third
alright.
one's good. I
Yeah.
think it's got a lot of great storytelling in it, and I loved its whole arc with Tony not having the armor. I think that was a smart move on their part to show that Tony is Iron Man. It's not the suit that's Iron Man; it's him.
Yeah.
Um, and then Thor, the second Thor is not great. It's still watchable and fun, but the first one's good, and then the third one's great. I love Thor Ragnarok,
Alright.
and it's one of the best ones they've made overall, even better than both Guardians of the Galaxies, because I feel like the humor is a lot more consistent and strong. The set design, character arcs, the character um, general
Well,
character stuff is better.
I guess you
Um,
could start talking about Thor right now, and it's yeah, because we're already talking about it.
sorry,
It's alright. I mean, there's nothing else. There's no other important news to talk about.
I mean
Um,
it was a great movie. I really liked it. It was definitely in my top five Marvel movies now.
I did enjoy Thor. I at first I didn't know how I felt about it. Like I did enjoy it, but I thought it was okay. But then when I started talking about it with my boyfriend and my friend, um, it started to make me realize how much I did enjoy it. Like I don't know if you understand the kind of feeling. Like you don't know how you feel about a movie until you start actually talking about it with people.
To some degree, yeah, that tends to happen a lot. That's what I do with my girlfriend and I. We talk about a movie after watching it, and then I really solidifies how much I liked it or not.
Yeah.
And
Um. Yeah.
yeah, Thor was good for both of us. It had great humor that we loved, and um, I liked the a lot of the action sequences. The character works great. I mean, it's seriously the sense of humor in the movie is really done well to me. Um,
Yeah.
and
I agree with
I
that.
I loved a, a lot. Like I liked that style of kind of interrupting a situation of drama with a little bit of levity that they used in it. It worked for me a lot. A lot of people said it was like, oh, you got to let the sadness kind of permeate and sit, but and not interrupt it with a sense of realistically in life. We kind of have to laugh off the bad parts, and that's what it kind of does, and that's what the humor did for me. Um, you know,
Yeah.
I and going back to overall creativity with the look of the movie, it is really nice and colorful. It was really, I love the designs of Sakaar. It looked like everyone else says it's very Jack Kirby-esque with its colors and geometry and
Yeah,
set design.
I don't know. The only like I had a few disappointments with certain characters. It was
Like who?
Corn. I forgot.
Korg?
Is it Korg? Yes, Korg. Korg. It was and Scourge, the Executioner.
Uh-huh.
Those are the only two characters I was kind of disappointed about.
Why is it? I liked Korg or Krogan or whatever his name is quite a bit. He was
Korg, yeah.
very, very funny to
I
me.
I did. He was real funny, but it's just that that wasn't his character in the comic books. I think, yeah, because he was more of a serious character. He wasn't really trying to. He wasn't funny, and they
I don't know. I
totally
felt like
changed him in there.
a lot of characters that aren't well known, and I think when it comes to his character, I wouldn't say that he was directly funny in that he was just kind of matter of
Yeah,
fact, and it just comes off as funny because he's also soft spoken. Like everything he said wasn't like he's trying to get a laugh. He's just being serious the whole time. It just his voice makes it sound like
yeah, that was
it's
weird.
funny.
They gave him like a Scottish accent thing.
What's his New Zealand accent? Because it's actually the director
Okay,
Taika Waititi. He's a Maori New Zealander,
okay.
and there's a lot of New Zealand in the movie, like the Grandmaster's right hand woman, that like kind of Polynesian looking woman who wanted to kill Valkyrie early on. Uh, she was in his movie. I think she's in all his movies, but I know she's like a big character in Hunt for the Wilder People, which is his previous film. And Sam Neill, which is funny because there's two Jurassic Park people in the movie.
Oh,
Um, uh,
I haven't seen
he's in it as
Jurassic
well.
Park World. I have to check that out someday.
Yeah, but he was, Sam Neill from the original Jurassic Park. He is,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
the
he's Grant.
Grandmaster. Yes,
Grant. Yeah.
I
No,
know
no,
he's in
no, no,
the.
no. Not him. No, no, no. That's Jeff
Okay,
Goldblum who plays Grandmaster. But
yeah.
no, there's Sam Neill is the guy who plays Grant, Alan Grant in the original one. He's like the main character of the original one with the hat. Um,
Um,
in this one, I mean, not like there's not to spoil anything, but like early on in the movie, there's a play, and he plays one of the actors in the play. Um, he played, playing Odin. And it's just a small cameo, but he also was in The Hunt for the Wilder People as the main character. And Taika Waititi, who was the director, he played Korg, and he did the motion capture for Korg, and then the big giant demon character. I already forgot his name. Surtur, I think
oh,
his name.
Surtur.
Surtur.
Yeah, that's another character I really want to see more of, and they didn't do much.
Yeah, we'll see if that comes up in Infinity Wars. But um, like I said, to me, a lot of why Korg comes off as funny is not because he's saying funny things necessarily. It's just that he's just very matter of fact, much like it's like Drax, but in a more lighthearted way because his speech pattern is like, well, that's how it is, like he's just a
Yeah,
working guy who,
he's not trying to force it. It seems like with Drax, he was. I don't know with that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It seemed like a lot of there's like some forced humor in there.
there's a couple scenes that are a bit more forced. It still works for me because I just think Dave Bautista does a good job with the character that it's still funny to me.
Yeah, it was
For
still
the most
funny.
part,
Like too much of it.
it's still
That's
the
the only
same thing
problem.
where he just kind of says anything where he yells the joke was not. as good, but he had a moment just because where he's just saying something and it just comes off funny, like when he's telling
Mm.
the story of his how he met his wife and how hideous what's her name is.
Oh,
Those are the
man.
yeah, Mantis. Those are the funny bits to me because he's just saying things and they're
Yeah.
just mean, but he doesn't realize how mean it is to say it
Yeah, that's
and
why I
to
got
be honest.
tired of it after a while with man.
But
Like,
for me, those are the scenes that work. The scenes that are still funny to me, but I can like they can get tiring, or the when he's getting excited to have his emotions read, and and when he acts like a big child,
yeah.
excited to go outside.
I mean,
But
I can see
everything
why
else,
Drax do that because he's
yeah,
not really familiar with making jokes, and
yeah.
this is his
So he gets
first time
excited.
doing it. So it's like he doesn't know how to control himself. He's constantly tells a joke, and he doesn't know when to stop.
Yeah, but that's ultimately to me why I like Korg is that he's the same side of that kind of coin that Drax is, where he's just a very matter of fact character. It's just because his tone of voice, he's just funny at the same time. And then when it comes to Scourge, I can agree that Scourge wasn't used as well as I'd like. I was hoping more. His introduction was the best part, I think. That was
Yeah.
really funny, and it just kind of shows him as being like, yeah, I'm cool. I want to be like a known,
Yeah,
appreciated person.
I like her. I mean, what Kurt Urban was doing with him. It's just it didn't do much with him. It's just like
Yeah, and
they just
it's
like
and
try
that's
to squeeze him in there and didn't do much screen time with him. That's the only
yeah,
problem I had with it.
and that's my only that's my thing to it. It's all it came down to just being character work, how much he appears in it versus everyone else. He just doesn't get as much time to develop the character beyond his introduction. His introduction is he's a weird guy who's
Yeah.
likes violence. Um,
Yeah, he did always like violence. That's
but
how
that's
I'm familiar with
I
him.
still enjoyed it. But yeah, Thor, I give a hearty thumbs up. I'm very happy with it, and I hope more movies. And that's another thing with the humor is that it's not so much quippy. A lot of the jokes weren't like just saying like their one lines. It's just actual character interactions. Like when Thor makes a line, he's not just saying like a funny line to make fun of the guy that just he's just sort of you know like a lot of the humor to me with Thor's character was him just kind of lying a lot, especially to Bruce about who's better. He just kind of it made more sense to the character where he's just kind of like lying or overconfident about himself to like a jock, like he's very jockey and competitive.
Yeah.
Between him and Loki, or between him and Banner or Hulk, he's like, yeah, it's not just him making a one line that says like, whoa, oh yeah, well you too. It's just more akin to his character that I liked, and it worked for me.
I
Um,
was just kind of weird out that because Scourge is always with Enchantress, and she's obviously not in this movie, but it's just kind of weird they introduced him without her, and it's just, I kind of
right,
I mean I think he would have had more screen time if Hela wasn't there and they had Enchantress
right,
because
right,
he has more of a history with her than Hela. I don't think he ever had a history with Hela, and it was just kind of weird they had that dynamic for me, and but other than that, it was pretty good. I mean, I like what he did with Scourge. I just wish he had more time with him.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, I just wish he could have done more with him. And he didn't really use his axe that much. I noticed he used guns, which was kind of weird.
yeah,
Like I didn't think that he was use that.
yeah.
So yeah, what is it? I'm not sure because I'm still expecting a TV, but I'm not sure if it's coming right now. uh, what is it? So yeah, I don't know. How did you like Hella? I don't. How did you feel about her?
I feel like she did. I think Kate Blanchett did a great job with her character-wise, where she's very imposing and cool, and like her backstory has been kind of like Loki, where she's just kind of a a child of Odin who is not appreciative the way she feels she should be, but
Hmm.
worse because she already had a sense of like death and destruction, and that's who she was, and she was being suppressed from being who she really truly is by Odin and being locked away for it and being punished for it. So she had a chip on her shoulder. The only problem I have with that her over that is just that she was much like Scourge. She wasn't used enough. A lot of the movie was focused on Thor, Banner, Sakaar overall, and it's fine with me. It works for the movie. It's just that
Yeah, that's one problem I did had the movie. They like had so much packing in there,
yeah, and
and
it works, but at the same time, it sacrifices a lot of character work for Hela. But it's still cool because Kate Blanchett plays the character so well,
yeah,
and
she
she's
did a
so
pretty
imposing
good job.
otherwise.
I agree.
She was great. It's just they could have done more with her, and I hope they can include her uh, further in the movie. Uh,
Yeah, I really did enjoy Hella a lot. She's pretty awesome. I mean, Clay Blanchett did a great job with that character, and I did like the look of the character too. Like the costume looked really close to the comic book version, and she played the character really well. Like she did the personality really well. And
yeah,
I didn't mind it so much that they changed the origin to like she was Odin's daughter rather than Loki.
right. Yeah, see, I don't know much about Hela herself and her origins in the comic books,
It's the same
but that's
origin, it's just with Loki instead of
oh, okay.
Odin.
Which I feel like they do that in a lot of comic book movies anyway. Is that if it works for the story, they'll change fudge things like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, so
And
um,
they did they did borrow some things from Angela, Queen of Hell, because in that series that's Angela's Thor's sister, and she becomes Hela for a bit.
right,
Hela dies and she decides to become Hela. But then Hela decides she comes back alive and fights back.
right.
So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to read more into it. I find the character
And
interesting, and I want to learn more about her, and so I'm curious about her.
yeah,
Um,
I noticed they actually put some things from Angela into Hela,
so all right, but
which
yeah,
I thought was fine. They made Hela to Thor's sister, which is
right.
pretty interesting. I actually
Yeah,
like what they did there.
for me, it's one of those things where I'm not like tied to the comic books to movie.
Yeah,
I
they don't have to
like
follow
that.
comics by the letter. It's just
I just want to
they
see
can
the
have
cool.
some influence, but not they
Yeah,
don't have to
I
have
want to see. I,
exactly.
I want to see the cool costumes in real life, and I want to see them fight, and I want to see just good storytelling with these characters. Like Thor. Thor is not really much like his comic book counterpart at all, but he works in the movie and he's fun, and I like
Well, I feel
him
like
in all the
he is.
movies.
I mean, because Thor is not really that intelligent, and he did kind of show that in the movie.
Oh no, yeah, the jockey nature. I'm talking about more like say his alter ego is the doctor and everything.
Oh no, that was a terrible idea in the comic books. I kind of
Yeah.
understand why they stood away from that
Well,
anyway.
yeah, it simplifies it, of course, and that's what I mean. Like it's, but there's things like that that I feel like are really different, but they work anyway. And even Tony Stark wasn't exactly like he's like Robert Downey Jr.'s kind of way how he talks and everything, but because I've read old Iron Man comics and he wasn't always like that, but he was like that, but not to the extent that he is now, especially how he's written in comic books today. Um,
Hmm.
you know, and it's the
Yeah.
same thing with how with the upcoming Black Panther movie or how Black Panther is in Civil War. Everything I've read that involves Black Panther, there's a lot of that in the character, but I feel like what's missing from that, and I hope they do that in future movies, is that Black Panther is an kind of a self-centered asshole.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
there's,
He does
I mean, they
have
touch on
that.
it a little bit, and it's an understandable side to him that he's a self-centered asshole because he's self-centered and he's not self-centered on himself. He's centered around him and his country, and that's all that
Yeah,
matters in all life, which makes him an asshole to everyone else because he'll refuse to help if it puts his country in jeopardy, which of course is the quality of a good king, but at the
yeah,
same time, that's shitty when he could really be help to everyone else. Um, and I mean, they touched on it a little bit in the original because I feel like that's the motivation for him in the movie is to join everything is because he's like trying to protect his country, and he feels attacked, so he's gonna get into the suit and fuck shit up.
yeah. I
But
really
in the new movie
can't wait for
trailers,
Black Panther.
yeah, so neither can I. But I feel like in the new movie so far, what I see, it just shows him being more regal and more of a normal like kind of king, but not
Yeah.
like kind of he's. I mean, he's still finding his way, but I feel like a big interesting aspect to him is that he is an asshole, and
Mhm.
and he's and he's strong and he's a strong king and he's well loved and all that stuff.
Well,
Um,
it's kind of hard to tell that from a trailer, so
yeah, I know,
I
of course.
guess we have to wait until we
I'm
actually
not saying
see
he
it.
is that. I'm afraid that they're gonna ignore that part because him being like the first black superhero they're gonna have on film like this, like
Yeah.
having a solo movie. Well, besides Spawn, I guess.
And
You don't want
Blade.
to make in Blade, but like the first big, kind of character.
Yeah, I
Also,
agree.
I think because Black Panther is supposed to be the first black superhero in general.
It's
Um,
like how Wonder Woman was like the first big female lead superhero movie. I know we had Elektra, but no one really cared about that. I mean,
yeah,
so I know what you mean by that. This is the same
but
example.
but he but I understand that they might be afraid to kind of touch that he can be a bit of a dick to the other Avengers overall, because they want to
Yeah.
make him like likable. They want to make him likable. They want to make sure people can relate to him. But I don't know. To me, it's such a big part of his character and how he interacts with the other Avengers. That's what I like. It's the same thing with kind of like with Doctor Strange because in the movie, I love the movie, but at the same time, I didn't feel like I got kind of the character of him where he's more mysterious and he's in the background. He doesn't help with the bigger Avengers stuff all the time, and he can
Um,
be a bit. He has some aspects of him where he's a bit like I'm all powerful, but it's not the same. But in Thor, he's used well where he's just kind of a helpful
yeah,
conduit
he
to
just had
move the
to help them
storyline,
get to Odin, and that was it. I mean,
and
like,
it's that same kind of thing where he's there when they need him. It's mysterious. He's mysterious,
mhm.
and and uh, and I hope to see more of that in the future with him. Like I know he's going to be in the new Avengers movie, but I just feel like he's not going to be used that much because that's how he is.
Mhm.
But we'll see for future movie. I'm really excited about Black Panther. I'm really excited about Infinity War. See how they pull that off. And
Yeah, and I I I enjoyed Thor for the most part. I would give it two thumbs up too. And I just I just feel like that the movie if the movie was maybe longer, they probably could have had enough room to fit everything in there. But I was
yeah,
I enjoyed it surprisingly with all the content that it have. I mean, I'm glad it didn't have as much humor as Guardians of the Galaxy because Guardians of the Galaxy did overplay it a lot. And
yeah,
I I'm kind of I don't know how to feel. I don't know which movie is better. Honestly, I keep thinking that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is better because I felt like it had a more groundbreaking story with his dad. Like it was more deeper there than what they had in. I
mm-hmm.
mean, Thor didn't have that much of a like emotional story in here. At least I didn't think so.
Right.
But to me, it felt like Thor was just all about having fun
I get
and
that.
That's why I think I enjoyed Guardians more than Thor. But I
Gotcha.
did enjoy Thor a lot. And
Yeah.
I did like what they did with Hulk. I mean, Hulk was really fun, and I wish you could see more of him. I think I wish he was able to get another solo movie.
Yeah. We'll see.
Um,
We will see. And yeah, I agree with all those things. It could have used more time and the
even though I
emotion with.
found out the movie was like, I didn't realize that it was 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it's like wow, I didn't realize it was that. I felt like it was shorter.
Yeah, it was a really nice breeze through. So we'll see how
Yeah.
we'll see where things go from here. And I hope Taika Waititi gets to do more things like this. He's definitely a really good director and writer and comedian. So
Mhm. I mean,
um,
is what other movies he's written? Taki Waititi? I don't.
his yeah, his two well-known movies before this one was What We Do in the Shadows, which was kind of a mockumentary style movie about a group of vampires who are roommates and they show their day-to-day lives, and it's really funny. That has Jermaine
Um,
Clement from The Flight of the Concords in it as one of the main vampires. It's really funny. And Taika Waititi plays one of the main vampires as well.
mhm.
And then his previous movie was Hunt for the Wilder People, which I haven't seen, but that's more of a coming of age story set in New Zealand about like kind of a troublemaking kid who gets sent away to like this house, like to live with this, I guess, family or whatever. And like
Mhm.
the old gentleman who's part of the family, he's just kind of a crazy person who kind of goes out to the woods and they have this adventure, trying to get away from some people that or something. I don't know the exact plot. I just know it's supposed to be really funny. It's supposed to have a really sweet heart to it, and it looks great. I've been meaning to watch it a lot. I think it's on Amazon right now if you have Amazon Prime, or at least HBO add-on for Amazon Prime, because I can watch it right now if I wanted to.
Oh, I'll probably check it out. I haven't. I'm not really familiar with the guy's work. I think the only thing I've had seen is Thor, and I think he
I
did a
saw
good
What We Do in
job.
the Shadows, and What We Do in the Shadows is a lot of that same sense of humor. It's a bit
Yeah.
drier, if anything, I guess, but even then, it's really funny, and it has a lot of unsuspecting moments in it. Um,
Okay.
and it's really funny because of that, because you just kind of caught off guard a lot, and it's also well made. It feels like it pretty much feels like a proper documentary, and the only reason you know it's not is because it's about vampires and they're doing stupid kind of normal
Mm,
roommate stuff with vampire powers. It's
mm,
really and I love the way they kind of treat um, the kind of vampire lore in it. Like
mhm.
what's like it's really funny. That one's on Amazon as well, and I highly recommend that. It's really funny. I love that one.
All right. Um, is there a favorite scene that you liked from Thor?
Um, uh, ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know. There's a part in the movie that I really love. I don't want to like give it away, but it just involves Bruce Banner and a bridge. Um,
Oh,
and
well, you could. I mean,
I don't know if there's anyone listening and who's seen it or not. I don't want to spoil that because
oh,
it's a
because I had the
great.
intention of what is it? People who have seen it to watch the podcast. Well,
I mean,
I agree.
I just
That is my favorite scene. I mean, like
it's
with
a great moment.
with
It's
yeah, with the
so
bridge, with
good.
the Rainbow Bridge, and
Yeah, I like that, and then I love the battle between Hulk and Thor. I thought that was really well done, just for how they interact with each other and
yeah, and I like
the
the
fight
whole
scene itself.
the raging fire was a reference to that scene. Like the I did enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, and it's I like those probably the two scenes the most. I just liked it a lot. I don't know. I liked a lot of it. I love the Doctor Strange sequence. It's used really well. The humor in it is it's just surprisingly good. I was really happy to kind of see uh, Strange more comfortable with his powers, and like to the point that he just kind of uses them without thinking, and he just kind of in humorous ways.
Mhm.
So I like that a lot. But yeah, the Rainbow Bridge and Banner was one of my favorite bits. It was just it was
Yeah,
perfect. It
like
was
the
perfect,
humor part came up with that and with
and it's a
Hulk.
nice callback to the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk too.
Oh, really?
Uh,
I didn't notice that.
yeah, if you remember from that, because there's a similar sequence where he jumps out of a plane.
Oh, yeah, yeah. My
Yeah,
boyfriend was telling me that. I just forgot again. Yeah,
yeah.
he did tell
I
me
mean,
about
I
the
watched that movie a lot,
helicopter
so
scene. There
yeah,
is a
I watched
reference.
that movie a lot.
Yeah, I saw it, I think, like twice, and that's about it. And it's been so long, so I don't remember that much of it. I did really enjoy that movie too. So yeah, that's pretty much my favorite scene too. What else is there? Did you like Valkyrie? I really much enjoyed her character too. How they
Oh,
did it.
I loved her character too. I love that she was as she I love that she was really good at everything she does, but at the same time she was extremely flawed because she was an alcoholic, and
Yeah,
the
and
reasoning
she
and
had
also her
the story of
backstory on
her
that was really good.
past. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
my
kind of
friend
made a struggle her. Go ahead.
my friend when I talked to him about it, he equated it to him being her basically being kind of Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty in a lot of ways.
Really?
Where she well because it's the same thing. She's smart, she's capable, and she does it all while being extremely drunk
Yes, I
and
see
having
that.
dark demons of her past. It's the same thing with Rick, and she has a similar look at the world where she knows she's good at what she does, but she doesn't care. She's just doing it for the money to supply her alcohol habit, to just kind of supply her excursions. She doesn't really care about anything. To me, she comes off as a bit of a nihilist throughout most of the movie. Um, because after because of her backstory and everything, she just doesn't care and just wants to feel numb. At the same
Yeah,
time,
I
she's
think the reason why she wanted to feel that way is because of what she went through her past, and
yeah, and
it just
that to me was very interesting.
it's very understanding to her to feel that way because I would feel that way too.
But
I mean, yeah, and I noticed I heard that people that she was supposed to be a different Rockery. She's not the same one in the comic books, but she has the same origin and she has the same personality. It's just they gave her a different name. That was it.
yeah, and that's once again, it's the same kind of thing like everything else in the movie versus thing. How it's the same thing with how they're going to be treating the Captain Marvel movie in a year or two, because they're probably not going to mention Marvel at all, or if any, very little.
I think they might
Because
mention Marvel because it's kind of important how she gets her powers. I don't know how they're gonna do that with
it's true. I do
Marvel.
think I think that movie is one of like the ones I'm most curious about because I am very interested to see how they're going to set up her origin as Captain Marvel. When a big part of her origin is that she's Miss Marvel first, and then she becomes Captain Marvel, and then who the original Captain Marvel is. So like, and then that's going to
I know
disappoint
they're
a
gonna
lot of
scrap
fans
the
one
whole
way or the
Miss
other.
Marvel part, and I think that's what they're gonna
It's
do.
possible and it's possible not because they're saying that it's going to be set in the 90s, and to me that to me shows that they're going to try to do something where it's like Ant-Man, where they're going to show or do the original thing, like with Ant-Man, they're going to show um, what's his name, Hank
Hank
Pym,
Pym, yeah.
but like he's in the past, and then he's always existed, much like this one. I feel like they're going to do something similar where she was Miss Marvel at some point, but they're probably going to treat it differently. Like she was like more of a like that's what she called herself and or whatever. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. It's like I said, it's interesting. I'm curious about that. Um, but that's a similar thing to me with a lot of fudging the origins with a lot of characters, much like Valkyrie. It's just you kind of have to do what you got to do to because you need that synergy between the comics and the movies.
Hmm.
Um, like it's yeah, it's good. I'm really curious about that one
Yeah.
because was it the original Captain Marvel hasn't been alive for what like like a long time. I know that,
Yeah, extremely long time. I mean,
like at least 10, 15 years. I don't even know. I feel like when I looked it up, it was like even in the 90s that he
it's
died.
more like it's just like Phoenix, Jean Grey. She just recently came back, and they said it's been 14 years since she's been, she's been dead. Like, I'm
Yeah,
like, damn, that's a lot of years.
and
I
that to
think
me is and then Captain Marvel is what have been doing with I can't remember her name right now, but Miss
Carol,
Marvel, okay, yeah, Kara
Carol Danvers.
Danvers, um, Carol Danvers, she's of course known as Miss Marvel for years, but now she's been Captain Marvel for a good like 6, 7 years now, and that makes sense to sell that. It just because of that, you have to settle a lot of her
Um,
story with
I
all
just
because
looked
she
at
was
my message now. That you need to head out soon.
but
At what
she's
time?
been
Uh,
um she's been you know Miss Marvel. She was about Miss Marvel for 18 years or something um before she became Captain Marvel. So it's a lot of things that they're gonna have to figure out, and I'm curious to see where that goes. I'm excited to see where it goes. I think Brie Larson will be a good Captain Carol Danvers, and
uh,
I hope it leads to Kamala Khan Miss Marvel movie.
yeah, but I don't know how they're gonna. I'm not sure we're gonna see that as of yet. Like
Yeah, I know.
that's like a far future thing, and I'm not sure they're gonna be able to squeeze that in. I don't know. Maybe like after on Phase 4, they'll probably do that. I'm not sure. Um. So yeah, I think I guess you could call it the last thing for this podcast. Is there I guess you could talk about Dark Knight's Metal.
I
And
mean,
then
yeah, I can. I mean, we in general we can kind of go over
yeah, then
our
that'll
reads
be
for the
it.
week and what we're currently recommending.
All right. Um. So yeah, the
You know
what Dark Knight
what
Metal's title you want to talk about?
I mean. I wasn't gonna go over it too much. It was just more that like what I'm currently reading has been definitely pretty much all of Dark Knight's Metal. Dark Knight's Metal is of course the story that's been long gestating by Scott Snyder with his Batman story, leading that
Yeah,
he's
it's with
had hints throughout his whole Batman run. It
it's
is
just
involving the dark multiverse.
yeah, the Dark Multiverse, and they've it's like the origin of the Nif Metal
Yeah, to some
material.
extent, yeah, and like what it really is and how it affects everything, and it's been great. I'm loving it. I know not everyone does.
I'm loving it so far too. I
It's
agree.
very comic booky. It's very it ties in a lot of past storylines into itself really nicely. I love the artwork by Greg Capullo, and the tie-ins have been great. They're fun.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
tie-ins are great. I'm surprised. I
they're not
actually
all
enjoyed it.
the best written stories or anything, but it's just they work. Like all the origin books for each Batman have been very interesting to
Oh
see how
yeah,
they.
I really like that. The only one I was disappointed with was Red Death, but all the other
I like
ones
the Red
are.
Death. I think the Red Death and the Merciless. I think that's the Wonder Woman one.
Yeah, I
Are
really like
probably
the
my two.
Merciless one. That one was my favorite one.
I think those are my two favorites. Murder Machine was pretty good too, and I don't really care
Yeah,
about
I like
Cyborg.
Murder Machines too.
I think my least favorite one was maybe Dawnbreaker. I liked it, but it wasn't. I don't
Yeah, I
know something
liked
about
it.
it.
I think I quickly forgot about it.
Yeah. The what was it the Gotham City thing with Titans, Nightwing, and Suicide Squad was surprisingly good. I enjoyed that quite a
I
bit.
didn't enjoy it that much. I thought it was alright. The
It's its own story that kind of shows like what these characters are doing during the events of Metal. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but I like the interactions and stuff like that. The current one where it's the Justice League um, fighting their incarnations of the multiverse Batman's is
I did
interesting. I
like
like that one.
I did like how Green Arrow had a relationship with Damian. Like
Yeah, they worked
they
well
were
together.
they worked well pretty well together.
Yeah,
They
and
had
I
some
like seeing
weird
that.
chemistry. Like like father and son kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
well,
it wasn't, it's not his father, but it's like
yeah,
the
because
way the relationship was like that.
I think he can respect Green Arrow because he's similar to his dad and how he's a vigilante.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Um, sorry.
Go ahead, it's fine.
And then this past week was Batman Lost, um,
Yeah,
to show what's going on with Bruce while he's kind of in this, what is it, the tuning fork? I think he's trapped in or something.
I guess so. It's like a dreamscape kind of thing.
Yeah, that he's being
But I
controlled
think
by.
everybody's stuck in a dreamscape, I notice.
Yeah, I know that a lot of the Justice Leaguers are being taken to the Anti-Monitor multiverse fork thing. That's supposed
Hmm.
to keep everything in check, and they're being used kind of like a battery for that. And that's I can't wait for the next issue to kind of make sense a bit of a couple things, but it's been good there. But Batman Lost shows what's going on in Batman's mind, and it's scary how it comes together. It's really interesting how it sifts through his history and how they're using his history against him to kind of get what they need from him to use him as their conduit to break through to further into the main multiverse and destroy everything. So I've been enjoying how that's going.
Yeah,
It was a really good issue. All the artwork was really good,
yeah,
very enjoyable.
I did enjoy it too. I did like the whole what is it like Bruce Wayne talking to his daughter in the dream sequence, and was it her daughter? No, it's his granddaughter, right? I think. I'm not sure. Yeah, I did like the whole the story with his original Batman suit and the purple gloves. I thought that was interesting, that little story there. And you I can see that Batman was struggling with, he didn't know, he was like going to like different stories, like his mind was like puzzling. Like he kept going to
Mm-hmm.
different dream sequences, like he would be somewhere else and then go back to where he was originally at.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kept going to different places at a point of time, which is pretty interesting. And I noticed there was some influence from I don't remember that storyline when Batman was dead in the pre 52
Mm-hmm.
and he went back in time, when like he was stuck in time with Darkseid. And
Yeah.
like he was like a caveman, and then he was like a like steampunk Batman. Like there was different types of Batman across time.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of that. I didn't read a lot of that just yet.
I didn't read that much of it either, but I'm familiar with it. That's why I know some things about it. And I kind of saw some of the Batmans in there in that book. I
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
noticed.
look at that. See how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Overall, the event has been really fun so far. I like how it ties into everything, and
yeah,
yeah,
I really enjoyed it too. Is there um is there any other books you want to talk about?
I mean, I had mentioned before the when we were talking earlier, like my like kind of my big pick of the week is probably Moon Knight, the new Moon Knight issue. Um, it's the first kind of big title from Max Bemis, who's the lead singer of a band called Say Anything, who was one of my favorite bands. So I've been following his writing career since he started doing that, and I was nervous for him, and I was happy to see that it's an actually very good book. It's very uh, it's very haunting. It doesn't feature Moon Knight really in any real form at all. It's
Yeah,
like fantasy with
I
him.
found that kind of weird that I was like waiting to see where Moon Knight was gonna end up in the issue, and he's not
Yeah,
there at all, I
but
think.
it's a good setup for a new villain for Moon Knight.
Yeah,
Which if you've read any of his interviews before this, when he was talking about it, Max felt like, everyone kind of has their counterpart villain, Joker and Batman, or even Ra's al Ghul, Flash and Anti-Flash, Sherlock Moriarty, and all that, and they all kind of have, a lot of them have their own kind of thing. But he felt like Moon Knight doesn't have a definitive villain to him, and he wanted to try to do that. And I like where he's going with it. And it's a good start, and I hope he can make the character compelling throughout, because he was really interesting in this one, just setting him up before he's
Mhm.
really anything yet. And when he becomes sort of this villain at the end of the issue, he's terrifying. He's very scary, and it's
Yeah.
it's intriguing to see that where he could go with this, because it's weird, because it's not like he knows exactly who Moon Knight is, and who that he wants to destroy Moon Knight. It's not like a simple, like, I must destroy him. It's more that he know, because this character has this power that um, that he equates himself with the Egyptian god Amon Ra, much like Moon Knight is Khonshu, and Khonshu being the son of Amon Ra. So he wants to find whoever this is and kind of make him bow to him, and be his superior, possibly destroy him. And it's just how he goes about, how he says it, and how he doesn't, how he's, you know, he doesn't want to be stopped. It's just really well done. The artwork conveyed everything nicely. A good sense of terror throughout, and tension. Jason Burrows did a good job of that. He's only done Alan Moore stuff, I think, before, with Providence Necromonicon and stuff like that, which also has that similar style where it's just kind of realistic kind of drawings that build upon a mythos, and it's unsettling. Everything looks normal but unsettling, and it builds tension throughout, and it worked really nicely for this book, and I'm really excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
I'm
I really did
really
like what
hoping
they
this.
did with the villain. I hope to see what's more of him, and I really like I really like his if the character's actually finding himself, like he was figuring out who he was, and I kind of like the whole talking to the psychiatrist thing. It was really fun reading that part,
Yeah,
and like at the end he finds out who he really was.
yeah, and it works
Yeah,
nicely. It works.
yeah, they really worked nicely. And there's also another series I want to talk about that I'm actually enjoying. It's Iron Fist. That's one that I enjoy for the week. I think it came out 2 weeks ago. It's with Sabretooth, and I really enjoy that.
I heard good things about it. I've read the first issue and I liked it a lot. I just had too many books, so
Yeah,
I haven't had a
it's
chance
the
to follow
same
it yet.
writer as Old Man Logan and Cable. That's the right
Right, Ed
name.
Brisson
Yeah, yeah,
or Bryson.
yeah. I actually like his writing a lot. I want to read more books of him. Not sure if he has any more books, but I'm thinking of looking into it.
I know he has a couple before that. There was a book that a coworker of mine liked that he did with Image, that he had to stop early because of financial reasons, because it wasn't selling well.
Oh,
But
I'd check
yeah,
that out.
yeah, if you,
I never knew any
he's
of his
really interesting.
work.
He did a couple things before it. There's a graphic novel that came out a few months ago that we had on the shelf that was apparently like an original graphic novel of his, that kind of a crime book that my friend really liked. And he did another one which I think it was called Violent something, or it started with a V. I would look into that because he said it was really good. I like the artwork in it. But like I said, he had to
Mhm.
stop early because it wasn't selling well enough, and he had some financial issues. But then Marvel picked him up, and from just that work alone, and now he's, kind of one of the up and coming writers at Marvel. So he's doing really well, and he's knocking it out of the park with all the books he's been on.
Yeah, I agree. I really enjoy the Iron Fist series that he's writing right now. It's more like I know this is more kung fu thing. Like it's more. It feels like you're watching a kung fu movie with
Yeah,
Iron Fist. Like reading a comic book movie with Iron Fist. And I've had liked his interaction with Shang-Chi. Like he was with Shang-Chi for a couple of issues, and then now it's with Sabretooth. And I kind of like the relationship with Sabretooth and Iron Fist are having. I mean, it's like their chemistry is like they're trying to get along, but they don't like. And
Right.
I like how this time Sabretooth is not written like an idiot like he usually is. And I kind of like
Right.
they actually written like a smart guy because they're both trying to figure they're working together and they're looking for when there's a villain called the Constructor that Sabretooth used to work with, and for some reason someone is disguised as him and they're trying to figure out who's disguised as him because the Constructor that he was working with Sabretooth was working with it died. I
Hmm.
and I'm not really familiar with that character, but they describe it in the story, and they're trying to figure out who the guy is and why is he working with this new villain that Iron Fist is fighting. I think it's Khonshu's, I think that, and
Hmm.
yeah, they're trying to figure out what's this whole villain team up working coming is interfering with Sabretooth and Iron Fist. And I kind of like the dynamic that Iron Fist and Sabretooth is having because he's just like Sabretooth is constantly bashing at Iron Fist for not being familiar with what goes on with villains, like their underground work. Like
Right.
yeah, and and Iron Fist is like the outsider that he always is, and it's just kind of funny seeing that.
Right.
It's pretty good, and
Yeah.
I'm surprised they actually work well together, the Iron Fist and Sabretooth. I never thought they would, but they actually do.
It's one of my favorite things in comics is when two characters you don't think will work end up working together.
Yeah,
You always gotta try something. So in my head.
yeah, I don't know, but lately I have been liking Sabretooth as a good guy more than a bad guy because I know that he had a rivalry with Wolverine, but they never gave out
Yeah.
a full reason why. It's like
Right.
it's just they hate each other just to hate each other, and it just never I never understood a reason for him to be bad. But then
Right.
I noticed when they turn him good with the Scarlet Witch spell and axes, they've been part the writers have been writing him pretty well with that, like him being a good guy, which is something I never thought would work, but it is.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's. Hold on, let me get some water. Yeah, my mouth just went dry all of a sudden. That was kind of weird.
Right. No
Um,
problem.
yeah, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think we could leave off at this point and
Sure.
end the show here. So I hope everyone enjoyed the first episode of the podcast, and hopefully we get to have this again maybe next week.
Yeah. Let's try.
Yeah, and I don't know. Hopefully we get to talk about Punisher or Justice League because that's one of the two things that's coming out next week. Oh no, it's this week actually.
Oh yeah, that's right. Right. That's right. It's
Yeah,
coming up.
so hopefully we can talk about it next week or the week after and see what we
For
think
sure. I
about
just
it.
gotta. Hopefully, I get a chance to watch them both.
Yeah, yeah. I
We'll
actually hope
see.
we have
Until
fun with
then.
that. Yeah. I guess we'll sign off on the show. So, bye everyone.
See ya. Thanks for chatting.
All right.